missile is still flying, it doesn't mean Obi outsmarted ADC so much that Bolaji is reeling out the missile, Dino is reeling out the missile with certain very, very strong, remarkable statements, trying to say Obi wanted the easy way. In any case, if the hard way is avoidable and is unnecessary, you would want to use the easy way. No, he said something. Obi can only operate in an air-conditioned kitchen. Hot kitchens are not for him. Peter Obi excused himself from tough situations. If he cannot face party tribulations and crisis, how does he intend to handle Nigeria? Because Nigeria will have past ADC problems. So, see, does it mean all of them have made up their mind to use Peter Obi to sell Atiku's candidacy? Now that he's leaving, they are so angry and crying, or they are sincerely speaking about Peter Obi. Because how would anybody want to take a hot kitchen if truly I can take an air-conditioned kitchen? I mean, it makes no sense to go, if there are alternatives and I have air-conditioned kitchen, I decide to go take the hot kitchen. It makes no sense that as a natural and rational human being, if I can save money I'm going to use in the primaries and all the animosity I'm going to create by winning somebody or losing to somebody, if I can save all that and go straight to consensus where the party can unanimously bring me out and avoid the contentions that goes with primary elections, why don't I choose that? Isn't that normal? Don't you think what Obi did is normal? Or you queue up with Dino Melaye?
You see, I wasn't surprised to see Dino Melaye at boss. We said it on this platform that Peter Obi has no business with ADC. That ADC had added nothing to Peter Obi, but rather Peter Obi legacy has promoted ADC to a high heaven. So what happened? When Peter Obi exit ADC, you see the house crumbling. So it is out of this fear and anger that you see the ad boss coming from all corners. You see, why is it that political party are in turmoil in this country? It is because of the simple reason that they don't have a consensus candidate. Yeah. They always create a chaotic situation by organizing primaries, whether you want to call it delegate primaries or direct primaries. The outcome is always chaotic because people are going to leave dissatisfied. Some people are going to go celebrating, and this question of winners takes all will come in because we're Africa. We don't know how to do inclusivity. So Obi is trying to bring a new brand of politics where it will be rank free, where the people who are contesting, they are selected by a particular committee of the party, and they are said that this one are the one we are presenting at this time. Yeah. So everybody queue behind them in one accord, so that when they win the election, nobody will say a winner takes it all. That I won at the primary was fierce, and now that I know what I passed to get my ticket. That is what the kind of politics Obi is trying to avoid, and that's what is good for this nation, for us to move forward. Yeah. So people who are it is very, very clear that they wanted to use Obi name to sell Atiku, but Obi has smacked them at the last minute. Now they are frustrated, they don't know where to go. That is why Dino Melaye can open his mouth to name NDC, a brand new political party, as an agent of APC, when the whole Nigeria, the whole world knew how NDC emerged as a political party, and how the man that is behind the party worked tirelessly to ensure that he come up with a political party with ideology. And this is what Dino Melaye has to say.
Let me come to you. You say Dino Melaye said he cannot be part of the primary election. That is why he left PDP. That is why he left ADC for another free ticket in NDC. NDC is an agency of APC. Let me put it this way. You see, I'm an advocate of people being involved in enterprise, manage conflicting interest, manage limiting factors that's going to lead to cost. And you understand that if I'm going to have a free ticket, I'm not going to go waste money for it. And that is natural. That is normal. You shouldn't be criticizing anybody for that, especially when you are going to create. What is the problem of PDP today? It was for the primary election between Atiku and Wike, where Dabo and Co stepped down and all that. Obi want to avoid that. He's building a party, or rather he's building a political spectrum where people have to converge behind a leader and what that leader epitomizes. How has NDC become an agency of APC simply because Obi left to that place? Is Obi an agent of APC?
Bill answered that. You should remember when Obi left as governor of Anambra State, and his time was characterized as a period of prudence and physical discipline. That's what Obi is known for. And again, being his mantra, he has maintained it. See, I don't blame most of these ADC people jumping up and down. We are in this country, we know what it takes for you to be a delegate for a primaries. Most of them, they go home happy because this money goes around. I remember last election, the delegate showed the house he bought for the money he made from the primaries. One showed the car he bought. So for them, it's a bad business. Obi has closed a business they should have earned from. So they're not happy because they've lost earnings. And why for others, they have built that house simply for Atiku. I was talking with somebody. He said that Ibadan Convention was a good idea. In that Ibadan Convention, they were supposed to pick a candidate from the south. Because of Atiku, they couldn't arrive at that. So if you understand the intrigues about this, Obi quietly left the house. You'll be complaining that Obi has been one disturbing the house. And they moved, they're crying. I understand the reason for crying. For crying NDC.
You just brought a topic about obedience disturbing the house. Philip, let me come to you on that. Does obedience have to now put themselves in order because they are now in a new home, which is NDC? They were calling them as those, fanning the flame in ADC, trying to make some rhetorics that was dividing ADC. They were holding them together. They're actually calling them Obi Mob. Should obedience make noise in NDC now? Will that stain Obi?
You see, what my advice to the obedience, if they really believe in what they are canvassing,
which will be presidency,
to be presidency,
yes,
to move Nigeria from consumption to production, that we Nigerians believe that is our problem. They should stop fighting for positions in their new home. They should stop behaving that what they are exhibiting anywhere they go is that Obi is not their interest.
Yes.
What they are actually fighting for is their personal interest. They want to ride on Obi.
Because if they are really fighting for Obi's interest, Obi has gotten the ticket.
Yes, they want to ride on Obi back to get to wherever they are going. But that shouldn't be. They should see that what we are asking for is a Nigeria that works for every one of us. And that is what Obi represents. So people should know that there are time for sacrifice. Now that Obi has moved into a new home, and it's a little bit late for them to get themselves involved in things like a party office and all that. What they should concentrate on now is to see that their president will become the president come 2027, instead of trying to destabilize the home with issue of party positions and all of that and ticket to run for election.
Philip, those people we're talking about, I don't think they're obedient. These are political jobbers. They are masquerading as obedient.
Exactly. I think you get it right. They are really not obedient. They are not interested in Obi's candidacy.
They are obedient. They don't even care. They don't want to contest. Just to make sure Obi arrives at the state.
Yes, they don't want to contest.
These are just jobbers
under the obedience.
And instead of them left. A lot of them came into the National Assembly. How long they remain? They left.
Even the so.
I think His Excellency Peter Obi himself should know about this. If your interest is Peter Obi's presidential candidacy, he has gotten that spot now in NDC. You should be at home with it. But if you are fighting, because if you look back in ADC, they kept cautioning them that you people are bringing division and all that. If this division follows them to NDC, will it speak well for Peter Obi?
But of course it won't. And this is where Obi needs to speak up. This way he needs to speak up. He can't come to somebody's house want to boss them. Obi, they should learn from their master. Obi has gone here and submitted this to the authority of NDC. They should take you. If they're truly obedient, they should take you. Obi didn't go to NDC to go and brag. He went to the authority of NDC
and registered.
So they shouldn't go and fight to become the chairman.
Didn't change the national chairman.
Change the national chairman. Change the national secretary. Executive. You don't have that power. It's not you have to do.
I have it in a good authority. The national secretary of the NDC happened to come from Anambra State. When Obi comes, he ought to step down. Obi said, Obi can. He said, no, remain there. And you know what the so-called political jobbers in the name of Obi are saying outside there? That Obi is a selfish person. That is pursuing his own interest. That he do not consider his follower. What is the interest of?
They are not his followers.
The interest of Obi's followers should be that Obi should become president.
Exactly.
So that Nigeria can be good for them to operate.
Yes.
So I don't see the selfishness in Obi for trying to get a platform to enable you to run for 2027. So if those people are really obedient, they should do a rethink before they make their statement.
For me, Dino should be more concerned about the issue deviling and
I want to come to you on that.
There are court cases.
If for any reason NDC now has to have 5,000 lives because the cases are much, but for any miracle, you can't be too sure. For the purpose of moving our democracy forward, because if you have court case, you are still alive. Yeah. If a company has court case, it doesn't stop them from functioning. It's only in Nigeria that once an institution has a court case, especially political party, you stop them from functioning. You shouldn't stop them from functioning. Most banks have court cases and they are doing their jobs. Of course. So if ADC survives it, do you see a strong 3-horse race? Peter Obi in NDC, Atiku in ADC, no serious contender now. And of course, Asiwaju the incumbent, who say you can't scale him, you can't intimidate him. He's there in APC, an incumbent.
Most likely, we're going to have a 3-horse race, and I can tell for free that ADC will survive. Why would I say they will survive? Labour survive when they will be left. SDP survived when Everybody left. So their main target, which is to not have a platform, has left ADC. So they're going to give life back to ADC. So for me, ADC is going to survive everything they are facing because their primary target has left, and that's give room for 3-horse race. For me, it's a democracy. I don't have an issue with 3-horse race. I don't have a problem with that. Let people decide. What we're asking for is a level playing ground.
All right, how do you see this 3-horse race or even more playing out? Because she has some other smaller parties that will present presidential candidates, and I respect that. Like I said, failing or losing the election is part of democracy. So it's not a winner takes all that makes it easy.
Whichever name you want to give to it, it's going to be one election. The ruling party against the Nigerian masses. And the Nigerian masses has chosen their candidate. Any other person is the very. So the election per se is between the ruling party and by the grace of God and Peter Obi of the NDC. Every other person is just trying to do a show, like you said. They want to contest whatever the result happens because it's all over the world. You go to the US, there are other parties, smaller party, green party you have is the Democrat and the Republican. Even in the UK, you have the Labour Party and the Conservative. There are other parties. You understand? But the main election is the people know that the people who are in government want to retain themselves in government, and the masses want a change, and they will queue behind that person. They felt they need to be in office.
All right, I think